and welcome to another episode of Chapter 9 Book Club. I am Christina Galvin, joined by the ever so lovely Rachel Polanski, and we have a special guest, Kelly Van from Lit Actually Bookstore.
Yay.
So thank you so much for joining us, Kelly. So great to see you again. You are a frequent flyer on our show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good morning, everyone.
And
yeah,
we have
always doing cool stuff over there.
Yeah, and we have
try.
Another amazing reason to have you on. Tell us about the upcoming book crawl that you have planned.
Yeah, so we're so excited. This is Central New York's inaugural book crawl. It's going to take place July 10th through the 19th across 5 counties. So Onondaga, Oswego, Madison, Cortland, and Cayuga counties. And we've got 18 bookshops confirmed. I think we've got a 19th on the way. So
Nice.
We'll be talking about that next week as long as we can confirm that up. But yeah, this is a really great opportunity for readers to kind of explore new bookshops that maybe they haven't been to and take the opportunity over the 10 days of the summer to really discover. It's like a literary road trip. And so, it's going to be really fun. All of the shops are going to offer something different, and it's on your own time. There's not going to be any formality to it. We'll have a passport that you can get stamped or checked off. And at the end of the 10 days, we'll collect all of the completed passports and we'll have prizes to raffle off. And it's going to be really fun. It's going to be something that I think is going to bring the entire community together over a similar, love of reading.
And I want to touch on, too, that this isn't, just Syracuse or even just Onondaga County.
Right.
You've covered Onondaga, Madison, Oswego, Cayuga, and Cortland counties here.
Yeah.
We're talking about cities from Baldwinsville, Liverpool, Manlius, Camillus, Cazenovia, Marcellus, Mexico, Weedsport, Oswego.
All over.
Cazenovia, Hamilton, Cortland, and, of course, Syracuse, too.
Yeah.
So I think, we touched on this a little bit before, but just talk about how this idea all came about.
Yeah. So, a lot of other cities do this. This isn't like a novel idea where, we're creating the first ever book crawl. But it is the first for Central New York. And in my marketing experience and my research that I did to bring Lit Actually to Baldwinsville, to Central New York, I went and did my market research, and I traveled around the East Coast and to all these different cities, and I visited 17 bookshops last year. And at every single destination, at every single shop, I talked to new owners and different readers, and I got a different experience and just increased my love for what this was. And I thought, why wouldn't we do that here? We have so many great bookshops and so many different people behind the brilliance of those, and let's open that up to the community. So that's kind of the inspiration behind it. And we've got 18 bookshops, 19 bookshops in Central New York, and we were talking before this, we didn't know there were even that many shops around. So I think it's a good opportunity for people to learn about all of the depth and breadth of what we have here to offer.
Kelly, tell us a little bit about the passport and how that works.
Yeah, so very similar to if you've been to Oshkosh in Baldwinsville, or there's bar crawls in New York City with the Santa Claus run or something. You get this passport, and it's going to have every bookshop listed on it, the address, the social media, and there's going to be a little area where you can get a stamp or a punch or a signature. And the more shops you go to, the more opportunity you have to win a prize at the end of it. It's informal, it's on your own time. You don't have to catch a bus to go, and it's not 12 to 2 on Saturday. It's really meant to be over the course of 10 days so that people can go on their schedule at their time, go with friends, go by yourself. And it's meant to be really flexible and easy to make that journey. So.
And no purchase necessary, right?
No purchase necessary. Yeah. So if you go into a shop just for the discovery of it, and don't find a book you like, or maybe it's out of budget or something, that's okay. We just want you to go and explore Central New York. It's all about creating the community and discovery.
Can I just say, I think a lot of people that, you just launched your bookstore last year.
Yeah.
Last year. I feel like a lot of people would consider other bookstores their competition, and I feel like I just love that you're such a team player and that you embrace other bookshops and you're making it a bigger, more fun space than being in competition with others.
100%. Lit Actually is romance forward. That is where our bread and butter is. I love reading, and we'll talk about the Midnight Library, but I love reading other genres too. But we're so hyper-focused. And, a lot of the success that we've had with my shop in particular has been because of the collaborations and the partnerships with, the Syracuse Crunch, the Syracuse Mets. We've
Yeah.
got, we're talking with Spatchcock Funk to do some things with some authors that are coming to visit in their production studio. We've been talking to potentially the Landmark as a venue, Crazy Daisies. Like this doesn't happen in a silo. We've found great partnerships with like Ink and Paper, and that's what she read as partners for some of these bigger events. And, we're all here for the same purpose. We're not trying to like carve out space that someone else can't play in. The reading is supposed to be community and learning. And I keep saying discovery, but really like that has to happen as a conglomerate versus like on your own singular path.
I love that. And it sounds like you want to involve even more people in the community with this design contest. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you're looking for?
Yeah, I'm so happy you brought that up. So, this is our first year. So we're trying to find ways to engage the community early on. So the book crawl doesn't happen until July. But, I'm not a designer. I don't know a lot of people who can like build a logo just as like a side hobby. So we wanted to engage the community and say, come give us your ideas, your themes, put those down on paper, and whatever we select, like the bookshop owners will all vote on the designs, and we'll select that, and that design will be the theme for like all of our social media, and it will be on our tote bags and our t-shirts. And so it's really just a way to, again, engage the community. And we know we have so many readers. We've seen tons of people showing up for these events, and they're all very passionate. So let's bring that to the paper and, in an artistic way. And I think we've already seen a lot of submissions, so it's
Awesome.
going to be exciting. And it's not just for like adults, right? Like my daughter wanted to get in on the action, and she's ineligible because, she works for me. But
Fair.
it's creative, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be professional. We just want to see the community come together and contribute their ideas.
So on that front, so the event is in July. The submissions for the design contest is March, you said?
March 16th is the deadline, yep. And so we'll spend the next couple of days, reviewing the designs and the selections, and then we'll pick the winner and we'll notify them by April 1st, and then we'll start building out like the passport design, and you'll start seeing that design on social media and all of the other places where we'll be.
And for those interested in applying, they go to your Facebook page.
Yeah, we've got a Facebook event page for the book crawl already set up, and you'll see the links on there. Additionally, all of the bookshops who are participating have the links on their social media as well. So it should be pretty easy to find. If not, reach out to one of the shops and we can direct you where the link is. And yeah, again, March 16th is the deadline. So really excited to see all the ideas come to life.
Absolutely. And I just love how many different types of themed bookstores too, pretty much a genre for everybody.
Right.
So if you're more interested in romance, they know where to go. There's thrillers, there's and one for everybody's budget too, which is amazing.
100%. We've got a lot of bookshops they have a great selection of used books. We do blind dates. We've got children's books everywhere. So there's something for everyone for sure.
Awesome. I just love the concept of this idea, and I can't wait to see where it goes. And, of course, Kelly's not over with us yet. She is going to go over a book that we really fell in love with, The Midnight Library. It was one of Rachel's favorites that she was excited to bring to the table. Rach?
Yeah, so I actually read this a few years ago, and so I did a little bit of a reread or re-listen in this case. So I just think the concept of this book is so unique and so different. When I had read this, I had never read anything else like it, and I love when a book can do that for you. So my rating is a 4. I went kind of high.
I also gave it a 4.
Okay.
I thought it was a really good read. It had its slow moments, to be honest. Sometimes I'm like, where are you going with this? But then just the overall concept of it takes you into a different place, with each chapter, I thought was so unique. Kelly, what'd you give it?
I give it a 5.
Really? Well, yay. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks. This for me was one of the ones I still think about. I read this a couple months ago, and Matthew Haig is just brilliant, I think, in how he brings to life the awareness of the mental health and the struggles and all of. I thought it was a quick read in that, like, each chapter or destination or life that she chose at that time kind of was like a short story almost. And there was a lesson to be learned in each of those journeys for her. It was, like I said, it sat with me for a while. I still think about it. And he's got a new book coming out later this year in May, which is called The Midnight Train. I think there's going to be some threads of like similar themes. I'm really excited about that one.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to dig all into The Midnight Library. welcome back. So we are talking about The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and as we discussed last time, we all loved it. So for those that are unaware of the summary, it is about a woman named Nora Seed who finds herself faced with this decision, faced with the possibility of changing her life for a new one, following a new career, undoing old breakups, and realizing her dreams of becoming a glaciologist. She must search within herself as she travels through the Midnight Library to decide what is actually fulfilling in her life. So we all thought that concept was so cool. I thought it was so neat and such a unique story to tell. And I am just always amazed, maybe that's the book nerd in me, of how the unique, ideas come about among these authors. I'm like, who even thinks of this kind of thing,
I know.
And it, is such an interesting concept, like what you were saying, Kelly, on mental health. And obviously Nora was at a crossroads in her life and thought of all the ways that she regrets doing this and that. And I just thought this book was just so beautifully told in a way that, life is meant to be what it was meant to be, you know?
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Rach.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I just wrote down a few points and that stuck with me. I like Mrs. Elm so much, such a great character. And there's one quote where she says, "Every life contains many millions of decisions." And I think that kind of sums up the book in that, we have all these decisions and how it can lead from one place to another, or in this case a completely different outcome of your life. So I think he did take this extreme, being in the rock band or the glaciologist or an Olympic swimmer. These were all very big careers and big passions, but I just thought it was really cool how he did it, and I thought he was able to tie up all the loose ends really nicely. He didn't leave anything hanging.
Right. And Kelly, you gave it 5 stars. You also kind of touched on, the concept of the many different lives. Was there any life that Nora lived that you said, okay, I could have seen that being part of one of my paths that I considered, or just thought it was an interesting concept?
Yeah, so several of them were very fantastical.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to back yourself out and be okay, the rock star life is probably not realistic.
Yeah.
An Olympic, you're talking about the highest echelon of talent all across the board. I loved the glaciologist. The story that came with it, the fear in a couple of those moments, I don't want to spoil, but it was just that one for me was my heart was racing in certain scenes. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? There's still half of a book left. She's got to come out the other side. And that's, I think, too, the turning point for me where you kind of saw where there would be this familiar thread in future life options. But the whole idea of every single choice leads to a different outcome or path was wild to me. And like I said, for a while afterward, I kept thinking just about the choices in my life that I've made and, which college to go to move to Central New York. There were so many points in my life that a different decision would have led me into a totally different, present day. And so it was kind of interesting to think back and reflect personally on, those alternative options.
Totally. For me, same thing, and I think me and Chrissy talked about this a little bit. It's so hard not to think about it personally, and so same, especially in our career, when you decide that you want to be a TV journalist, there's 200 TV markets around the country, and literally in college, at least back when I was in college, so 2011, they would tell you just send your tape out, your reel out to everywhere and see what bites. So I was sending out reels to Mississippi, North Dakota, New York, you name it. And so it's just so interesting to me. And then as I started hearing back from places, I ended up taking a job in Utica, which then brought me to Syracuse. And then I met my husband in Syracuse. And then we ended up traveling all over the country, and then we came back. But it's if I didn't come to Syracuse, it would have been so different. I wouldn't have met him. I probably wouldn't be here, So you can just take that thread and keep with the what ifs and the what abouts, and it's just wild. And I think, Chrissy, you said something similar too.
Oh yeah. I wanted to go to New York City, but then the pandemic happened and I didn't move. I ended up staying here, and my husband's from here, so I never would have maybe rekindled with him. We knew each other from college, but it was definitely staying here that tied us together. Right. But just an overall relatable, jobs aside, I thought the part about whether or not she would stay with her ex-boyfriend was a really interesting chapter, something that maybe everyone could relate to if they had maybe stayed with that significant other that they weren't clearly meant to be with, but they had that chapter with Dan, and, you know, Dan ended up not treating her right, and it seemed like rose-colored glasses when she broke up with him, you know, like, what if, like, he would have been so great to me, and then you end up finding out that, you know, he wasn't. So, you know, it was almost comforting in a way to hear, you know, how these things didn't pan out, and, not to skip over a few, but what stood out most to me is that even her best case scenario with what she thought was going to be a husband and family, she still didn't feel content, which, you know, to me, I think is, so I just thought that was beautiful in a way, because you almost think like, no, she's supposed to have that happy ending, and she just decides that. But I think it was the best overall that she ends up deciding that she's right where she was supposed to be, and overall what she was meant to do was just live the life she was given.
Well, that, and also I think it showed that, like, every different life, even the ones that you think are, like, the most fantastical, comes with different problems. Like, no life is perfect. Like,
It's not greener on the other side.
yeah, the rock star life had issues too, you know, and so I think that was an interesting perspective, because sometimes you do think about that what ifs, if I would have taken that job, and it's like, well, there would be bad things that come with that job too.
Right, right.
You know?
And it brings up a selfless part, too. There was one point where she lived a life where she never gave Leo piano lessons. And then Leo, you know, ends up going into a life of crime, you know, the little boy. And she was so bothered by how her life's decision negatively impacted someone else. You know, she was thinking the whole time, like, how am I impacted? How am I impacted? How am I impacted? And then she has that one life scenario where someone else was deeply troubled. I thought that was so beautifully said, of saying, you know, what's a good life that I live if I'm, you know, ending up not being a positive influence in someone else's. I just thought that was so great, too.
Yeah, all the people that you can touch, like, and not intentionally, you know, so there are
Yeah.
decisions you make to do something for this person, but there are also just people that you can influence and impact and not even know just by, you know, being there in a moment, maybe they need it.
Absolutely. And I thought such a great part. It hits early on in the book, but you quickly grasp onto it. I thought the Mrs. Elm character was
so
just
good.
perfect. You know, the library itself was just wonderful. The regrets book.
Yeah.
Because everyone probably would end up having one, and then she ends up seeing those regrets go away as she learns of why they were important to have in her life. Like, I thought that was such a key point of the book that actually just made me smile reading it. It's like seeing those go away, like, because so many people have those regrets that just hang on them like a dark cloud,
Yeah.
when really it was supposed to be something that you were meant to experience, whether it's a lesson or, you know, or just the way that your life's supposed to be. So that was a detail in the book. I just, you know, kudos to the author for being, it's so beautifully written.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I agree. And I think that one was really interesting in that, you know, it's all about, like, the changing of perspective. And, you know, it's not so much unhappiness being caused by circumstance, that it can be caused by your perspective. So, like, in her case, yeah, she lived all of these lives, and then her regret book got smaller. But I think for all of us, like, if you're having a regret, if you just kind of, like, change your perspective on it, you know, you might be able to take that regret out of your book.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's so good. Even the relationship she has with her cat was a lesson. You know, she's like, you didn't do anything wrong. The cat was meant to die. You know,
Yeah, that was its journey.
Yeah.
I just thought that was so good. And then
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. 'Cause
Right?
it had like heart issues or something,
Yes.
right? Yeah, yeah. That was
So,
funny.
and then the relationship she has with her brother Joe, I thought that was beautiful. You know, they were able to rekindle, and the whole, like, frustration with the band, and she thought it was, like, her fault, but it really was, you know, Joe dealing with issues of his own. It doesn't, while she's the main character, we constantly have other people's lives impacted by her living hers. So I just thought that was so well done, and it makes me think of, you know, me in that situation with my family, and, you know.
Yeah, and I liked the supporting characters too. Like
Yeah.
like even if they weren't in it as much, like Mrs. Elm was in it quite a bit, but like the supporting characters in the ones that were woven through, like the brother or Ravi, but then also the ones that were just like in the glaciologist one, that guy that was there, and he also was like experiencing different lives. Like that was really
Yeah.
interesting. I forgot what he
Hugo.
called it. Like Hugo,
Yes.
and he called it like sliding or something.
Yeah, he just
like,
said he was having fun with it. It's just like
Yeah.
someone not taking it seriously, where
Yeah.
she's like, I'm genuinely trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that was a point too. That was the turning point for me. But I think that was a point for her in her character development where she was like, oh, there's other people that are doing this. I'm not alone. And you're making that sliding like what you want it to be. You know, he was dipping in and out of lives and, you know, loving it. And she was really taking every experience to heart and reflecting and trying to figure out what that meant for her future and her past. And so I think seeing the different perceptions and perspectives of how each of those characters going through the same thing, what they took away from it.
For me, especially with female characters, I try to envision myself as that character. If it's, you know, in that format of I felt like genuine frustration when she did not know her own backstory when she got sentenced to things. You know, like imagine just having that amnesia and coming in, everyone's like, you're acting funny. It's like, I was here for a total of 2 hours so far. Like,
well, the one especially where she had the child and she had to go attend to the crying in the middle of the night or whatever it was.
Like, you're going to be uncomfortable no matter what, even if it's the best life for you. You have no idea what just happened the last X amount of years because you haven't lived it technically.
Right,
like,
and you're taking up all these context clues from pictures and stories that your child is telling you. You're like, oh my gosh, that's...
So part of me was like,
yes, it was nerve-wracking. You're right.
Part of me was like, that's not fair. She
or where she was like having to give a TED talk. Imagine like you're just like on a stage.
I felt
I'm like
genuinely
what?
Like I felt my nerves going when she was about to get up on there. I'm like, good luck, sister.
Like flash out of this one now. Now's the time.
I know. No, it's so good.
Yeah, like
so different.
But I get why they had to have that. You know, she had to be uncomfortable in every scenario she was in to genuinely find out if that was something she was interested in. I also thought they did a great job of involving her parents because, you know, that's a key role to so many people's lives. And obviously they weren't perfect. You know, the life that she lived, you know, in her original life wasn't all that great because of some of the issues that, you know, went on in family life with her brother and her parents. But they were also impacted by every decision she made, too. Like, maybe her dad lived a little longer and her mom didn't and vice versa. So I just thought that was... He did such a great job of establishing so many different relationships from the significant other to the animal to the what-if man that was Ash, you know, and even her parents and brothers. So just overall... He knocked it out of the park. Maybe 4 stars was even mean. We talk about it.
I know.
We do this every time, Kelly.
I know,
we start diving into a book. We're like, you know what? That was kind of genius.
I know.
I love that.
Yeah, we started on a 3, and then we're like, 5. Give it a 5.
I usually start high, and then if I start talking to other people, I'm like, oh, I guess that's a good point. I just generally am like, you did such a good job, and like you tried so hard to write this book. Like that, I can't write a book. You know, like I'm like I give them credit just for getting out there.
I'll do that a lot with quick thrills. Like some of the popular authors, I'm like, that was amazing, and you look back and they're like, that writing was kind of, you know, it got me. It was a quick read, but these books that really make you just start thinking and
I know.
Yeah, so I
think
overall,
I would love to talk to him at some point. And then I think it's really cool that Kelly mentioned. We'll have to look into that. That he has another book coming out soon.
Yeah, Midnight Library, May 26th. I looked it up on the way here.
Midnight Train.
Or Midnight Train. Yeah. So I think
it'll definitely play off of this though.
Yeah. I think it has to. He set up so many opportunities for like prequels or sequels. So I think like. Yeah, I mean the title alone sounds like it will, but it'll be interesting and be fun to read that one. You know, when it comes out.
Yeah, stay tuned.
It was so good. It was so good, and in natural fashion, we took a twist and went back to the dark side for our next book.
I was trying to do this. The pen.
My Sister's Grave by Robert Dugoni. We actually had the privilege to interview Robert Dugoni while he was in town several months ago. Amazing.
Yeah,
he was
such
amazing.
a nice guy.
And his story was just so great. Has a lot of books out there, but we decided to pick this one up.
I think he told us to. We were like, if you've never read your work, what would be a good one to start? And he said this was a good one because it turned into like 12 books. This is like the Tracy Crosswhite.
Yes, detective series.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So it's an older book, but we figured we might as well start at the beginning.
He also has a journalism background too, so that was kind of cool. And just amazing. He gives great insight on anybody that's looking to become an author and get started. And that'll be a really great interview for us to recap and go over My Sister's Grave.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Well, really quick, Kelly, before we go, remind everyone the date of the book crawl.
Yes. Okay, so the book crawl is July 10th through the 19th, so it covers 2 full weekends and then all the time in between. The design submission contest closes March 16th. And I do want to mention one more thing. I partnered with Libro FM for your listeners or viewers. So I have 11 free audio giveaways for your listeners. So the first 11 people who message me once this airs, I'll give them a redemption code and they can have a free audiobook courtesy of Lit Actually and Libro in celebration of the book crawl. So
Awesome.
July 10th through 19th, message me after the interview and I'll divvy those out for all of your listeners.
Well, Kelly, thank you so
The
much.
best.
Thank you for talking about the
Thanks for
Midnight
having
Library,
me.
and we cannot wait to hear more about the book crawl as we get closer.
Yeah, I hope I see you guys out there.
Yes.
Oh, you bet.
And
We'll
it
be
will
there.
be amazing weather by the time July comes around,
wait.
too. I'm sure everybody is looking forward to a little sunshine and books.
Start manifesting that now.
Those two words are some of my favorite things. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for
and
having me.
We will see you next time.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.